Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to analyze Taylor Swift and her involvement in Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds scandal. And the more I'm watching videos on this subject, as new details come in, the more I notice that there seems to be the one and the only explanation to everything that's going on, and that's one word: narcissism. For example, last night I watched Candace Owens' video about this drama, and again I hear narcissistic abuse multiple times. Guys, not everything in the world, and with celebrities in particular, is explained by narcissism. And in fact, who does not have narcissistic tendencies and does not ever use narcissistic defenses, at least a little bit? I'm sure you do, and I do, and everybody else does. Because feelings like self-focus, self-validation, a feeling of entitlement, all of these we feel at some point in our lives, right? And that's okay. So basically, I want to start by saying that let's not explain everything that happens in Hollywood by narcissism. It's getting old, really. And that's actually exactly why I'm making my videos on these subjects, to share other perspectives with you and let you in deeper into the world of human psyche. For example, in my latest video, we talked about the Grammys, why Beyonce had that weird surprised reaction, why Kanye and Bianca are playing the undressing game, and why Selena cried and what's maybe the reason behind her tears, and a lot more. You can check it out here if you'd like. Also, if you're feeling particularly generous today, you can support my channel on Ko-fi. The link is in the description box. Please, please, please don't forget to like this video, leave your comment, subscribe. You are always welcome on my channel. I love you all for joining me today, so let's get started. Disclaimer, I am not a therapist. But having spent 8 years in therapy, I gained a deep understanding of psychological processes, and I simply love analyzing behaviors by looking beneath the surface. This video is not meant to diagnose and is intended for entertainment purposes only. It seems like Taylor Swift is not having her best days. Okay, Swifties, don't come for me. I have to be honest here. First comes the whole booing incident at the Super Bowl.
Not a sound Taylor Swift is used to hearing.
And people are speculating that the reason for that is Taylor's alleged involvement in Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni plus Ryan Reynolds scandal. As we discussed in my previous Ryan Reynolds analysis video, Taylor seems to have been present at their house when Justin Baldoni was invited for a meeting where the three of them, Taylor, Blake, and Ryan, were trying to pressure Justin into accepting Blake's or Ryan's ideas on rewriting the infamous rooftop scene. As TMZ reports, and I'm going to read this for you here, there was a critical meeting at Blake and Ryan Reynolds' NYC penthouse with Justin to discuss a scene that Blake had rewritten for It Ends With Us. Justin said the meeting got super heated and he felt ambushed because Ryan and Taylor showed up. But a well-connected source close to Taylor tells TMZ Taylor came to Blake's apartment at the time Blake told her to, not knowing anyone else would be there. In other words, Taylor had no idea there was a meeting going on with Justin. The source goes on to say, Justin was about to leave after the 2-hour meeting as Taylor walked in, and she was introduced to him for the first and only time. We're told all Taylor said to Justin was how excited she was to see the movie because he was her friend's boss. Our source says Taylor believes Blake timed her meeting with Justin so Taylor would arrive before he left, and is baffled by Blake later characterizing her as her dragon. The source adds, it's weird to say that about a friend. As Daily Mail reported, friends of Taylor called her dragon remark uncool and unnecessary. Remember, Blake texted Justin after the meeting, referring to herself as Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones, and Taylor and Ryan as her protective dragons. And there's more. The source says Taylor is also learning Blake has been inappropriately leveraging her name for a long time, like telling a young actress that Taylor cast her, which simply did not happen. And that actress is Isabella Ferreira. So apparently Taylor had nothing to do with casting her, but She was told, that girl Isabella, that actress, was told by Blake Lively that Taylor personally cast her for this role. And even in a red carpet interview, Isabella mentions that to a reporter. Apparently, that was an attempt to lure Isabella into the world of Blake and Ryan as part of the whole alleged, the whole crew is against Justin Baldoni plan. So Taylor is basically sending a message that she had nothing to do with this, she came in, said hi, and that's it. But do we actually believe her? Because Ryan's lawsuit mentions this. And this is after Blake was seemingly upset with Baldoni not taking her ideas and not changing the scene, the rooftop scene. Lively was referring to an early meeting where Lively summoned Baldoni to her New York penthouse, where Baldoni was greeted by Ryan Reynolds, who launched into enthusiastic praise of Lively's version of the scene. Hours later, as the meeting was ending, a famous and famously close friend of Reynolds and Lively walked into the room and similarly began praising Lively's script. Baldoni understood the subtext. He needs to comply with Lively's direction for the script. So, who do we believe? Taylor Swift or Justin Baldoni? You guys let me know in the comments. The problem here is, according to Justin's lawyer, there's a chance for Taylor to be deposed. And being in court under oath, this is no longer fun and games, right? You can only imagine how that could hurt Taylor's image if that actually happens. She's obviously this huge artist, and I'm sure her team worked very hard on maintaining that image of a perfect girl that could do no wrong. She's so innocent and so nice, because that image obviously sells records and makes money for everyone. So I don't believe that being deposed is going to help that image at all. Adding to that, allegedly, the composer of It Ends With Us, Brian Tyler, was fired allegedly because of Taylor Swift, and her song ended up in the movie later. So it doesn't sound at all like she had nothing to do with it. It doesn't look like a high and by kind of thing. If Taylor Swift ends up being deposed in court, that could lead to a profound psychological impact, both personally and professionally. Psychologically speaking, Taylor has spent much time of her career maintaining the control over her narrative, which is a common defense mechanism for someone who has been in the public eye for so long. It's not just about keeping her reputation intact, it's also about protecting her sense of self from scrutiny and judgment that comes with fame. Being forced to testify could cause her to feel vulnerable, as she would no longer be able to control how much of her personal life is exposed and how others perceive her actions. So basically a huge loss of control. This could lead to feelings of anxiety and defensiveness, as the stakes are much higher than they've ever been in her career. Moreover, the situation also involves other high-profile figures like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and also Justin Baldoni, which adds another layer of psychological complexity. Taylor's possible involvement in this drama could make her feel torn between her personal relationships and her public persona. Another important thing to remember is how involved Taylor Swift was in the Me Too movement, and how she showed her support to Kesha during her trial, and she even donated to Kesha to show her support, and she did it publicly. Then there was the whole court battle for $1 only with a guy who grabbed her inappropriately while taking a picture with her. And she won that case, and she made a huge deal out of it. She wanted to send a message with it, and she later donated money to the other victims of similar cases. And mind you, when it comes to Taylor Swift's friendship, 10-year-long friendship with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and she is the godmother of their kids. They ran in the same circles and continuously showed how close they were. And you want to tell me that her best friend, Blake Lively, supposedly gets essayed by Justin Baldoni, and Taylor is silent, no announcements, no support, How is that even possible? I believe it's possible that Taylor didn't support her friend, didn't do anything, no announcements, no nothing, in 3 scenarios. One could be she knew nothing about her friend being a SAID, which is highly unlikely, first because nobody actually believes she was, considering all the evidence we have so far. Again, I'm not saying she wasn't, but allegedly, supposedly, according to the lawsuits, all the details, everything we've heard so far, there wasn't like a clear proof of that. So far, it looks more like a projection or like a big plan to destroy Justin Baldoni. So that scenario, we're setting it aside. The second option is there was a plan to destroy Justin Baldoni, and Ryan Reynolds is supposedly the mastermind behind it. And again, we have lots of proof and lots of videos and lots of information supporting that. And that, okay, in this scenario, Taylor didn't know anything about that plan. Again, they're so close. Probably she heard something, right? And the third option is she knew everything about the plan. They were gossiping about it. They were laughing about it. And Taylor just said, ha ha ha. But okay, guys, I'm just not going to get involved too much, right? And you go, girl, to her friend, like. And now, looking back, we can see that Taylor Swift got involved in this situation somehow, even if she didn't want to. And now she's supposedly trying very hard to distance herself from it all and to, again, present herself as this nice girl who had nothing to do with any of it. The feeling I'm sensing here is guilt, even if it's suppressed by narcissistic defenses. She's like a friend of a bully who stays away while her friend is bullying someone else and knows that it's wrong, but does nothing to stop it and even nudges the friend to keep bullying. This reflects a psychological phenomenon known as bystander effect or social conformity. This could happen for a number of reasons, particularly when the individual feels a strong desire to belong, maintain social relationships, or avoid conflict. In Taylor Swift's case, the reasons might be fear of damaging her public image or relationships, cognitive dissonance between her moral beliefs and actions, power dynamics with influential friends in the industry, normalization of industry dynamics and behaviors, and empathy deficit towards the individuals involved in the conflict. In the context of bystander who got caught, Taylor Swift could be feeling a lot of guilt right now, even several psychological layers of guilt. Exposure of inaction, fear of judgment, sense of responsibility, loss of moral high ground, regret, or self-blame. And as for this last one, if Taylor Swift now understands that what allegedly Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively did to Justin Baldoni was wrong, she may be experiencing this regret and playing it in her head over and over again, thinking how she should have not said that or done that, and maybe she could have done something differently. But adding the narcissistic defenses on top of it all may result in Taylor just suppressing all these feelings because she can't handle them and victimizing herself by making her friends the villains and herself the victim, of course. In this case, she would not be actually letting herself reflect on the situation, but focusing all of her energy on making Blake and Ryan the bad guys who tried to hurt her, and herself the saint who had nothing to do with anything. And it's important to mention that to this day, we don't know everything that happened on that set. There's so much speculation. There's so much information coming from the both sides, and especially, of course, coming from Justin Baldoni in his lawsuit and from this new website with all the evidence. It's important, in my opinion, not to use the black and white thinking and choose a particular side. It's still Very unclear. That's what the court is for, right? For example, yes, we have so much evidence that Ryan Reynolds has been plotting against Justin Baldoni. But what if it happened because actually Justin let himself go for a second and actually did something to Blake as a person, not as an actor in character. And since then, Blake felt uncomfortable and told her husband, and he started plotting these games. Could have been that, right? Why not? We don't know, guys. And trust me, both you and me would hate to be the person to victim blame someone if something actually happened and we learn it later on down the line, right? So let's not jump to conclusions. Let's keep discussing the subject. Let's keep gathering the evidence and just see how it all plays out. And from a psychological perspective, this story is super interesting to me, and analyzing it is a lot of fun. And like I said, it's not just about narcissism, even though it is at play here, but there's so many other aspects of this scandal. And as for Taylor Swift, hopefully we will also find out with time how much she was actually involved in this story behind the scenes. And what do you guys think? Will she be deposed? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
My goodbye.